Hey everybody, welcome back to TPS. NFL free agency was fun this year. Aside from the likes of Nick Foles and Le'Veon Bell, free agency in 2019 was dominated by the defensive players. A bunch of Pro Bowl safeties and defensive linemen hit the open market, big-name players were surprisingly released and wound up finding new homes. We think we know how some of the biggest signings will play out. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we present the 8 NFL free agents that'll rock with their new teams and 7 that will flop. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 8. Rock MALIK Jackson. Even though the $85.5 million contract was a little too much, Jackson actually performed very well with the Jaguars. The team had to release Jackson in order to make room for Nick Foles, but things still worked out nicely for the former. The 2017 Pro Bowl defensive tackle signed a 3-year deal with the Eagles worth $30 million. Jackson joins a stout Philly defensive line that already boasts Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. Jackson should do wonders in Jim Schwartz's defensive scheme. The latter loves his pass rushers. It's the emphasis of Philly's defense. Jackson will have so much fun here in Philly, and double-digit sacks is not out of the question. 7. Flop Cole Beasley. The Dallas Cowboys couldn't afford to retain slot receiver Cole Beasley. He wound up chasing bigger money and landed with the Buffalo Bills in a 4-year deal worth $29 million. Listen, we like the Bills' idea of going out and finding better pass catchers for Josh Allen, but Beasley might not fit the dynamic of this offense. And the Bills are overpaying a guy whose career high in receptions and yards is 75 and 833 respectively. Beasley was a great weapon in Dallas because the team's number 1 receiver, Des Bryant and later Amari Cooper, had to face the opposition's top corner, while the defense had to keep a close eye on Ezekiel Elliott at all times. That allowed Beasley to sneak his way up the middle and make the clutch third down grabs. In Buffalo, he'll be treated as a number 1 receiver. Also, good luck padding your stats when that wretched O-line gives Allen little time to throw. Number 7. Rock Danny Amendola. The Dolphins cut playoff Amendola after a lackluster showing in 2018. The Detroit Lions scooped up Tom Brady's former secret weapon on a very cheap 1-year deal worth $4.5 million. And we love this move for so many reasons. It gives Matthew Stafford a reliable option on third down situations. It helps the Lions offset the loss of Golden Tate, who was traded at the 2018 deadline. It reunites Amendola with Matt Patricia and Trey Flowers. The trio were together in New England for a few years. Amendola will work nicely in Patricia's offense here. He'll be used a lot in short yardage situations and will help move the chains. It's an under-the-radar ad for the Lions, who are one of the bigger winners of free agency this year. Number 6. Flop LaMarcus Joyner. Gotta say, we're not too happy about how John Gruden spent a lot of his cap space. We respect him for trying to fix a woeful secondary, but giving Rams safety LaMarcus Joyner a 4-year deal worth $42 million is a bad call for many reasons. Gruden could have gotten a better safety at a similar or even cheaper price here. Tyrann Mathieu and Earl Thomas come to mind, for example. Joyner was a mainstay in the Rams secondary, but a lot of that had something to do with defensive coordinator Wade Phillips. Joyner simply got better once Phillips arrived in 2017. We just don't see Joyner experiencing the same success. The Raiders' defense has too many holes and isn't going to give Joyner the same chance to succeed. Number 6. Rock Tevin Coleman. He was never going to overtake Devonta Freeman as the lead back in Atlanta, so the Falcons just weren't going to commit much money to him. One of the more overlooked free agents of this year's class, Coleman settled on a 2-year, $10 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers. It reunites Coleman with 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, who was his offensive coordinator in Atlanta for 2 seasons. Coleman can have a similar role as a complementary running back alongside Matt Breida or Jerick McKinnon. He'll do plenty of damage as a pass catcher out of the backfield for Jimmy Garoppolo, too. Coleman is a nice, cheap ad for a 49ers offense that should be lethal in 2019, assuming Jimmy G stays healthy. Shanahan will make sure he maximizes Coleman's production in San Fran the same way he did in Atlanta. Number 5. Flop Terrell Suggs. In a surprise move, Terrell Suggs left the Ravens and signed a 1-year deal with the Cardinals. Suggs had played every year of his professional career in Baltimore from 2003 to 18. His tenure included 7 Pro Bowl selections, 1 Defensive Player of the Year award, and a Super Bowl 47 championship. Suggs, entering his age 37 season, joins Arizona on a 1-year deal worth $7 million. We always respect somebody who wants to go back home with the tail end of their career, but this isn't the right team for Suggs. That defense in Baltimore was built around his skill set. Suggs was a physical and punishing force all over the field. The Ravens built an identity with a smash-them-in-the-mouth defense. Suggs was the heart and soul of that group along with Ray Lewis. Not sure Suggs is the right fit for Vance Joseph's defense here at this stage in his career. He's bound to lose a step, and it's hard to see him shining in a completely different defensive system than that of the Ravens. Number 5. Rock Adam Humphries. It's pretty telling that the Titans have registered 3 straight winning seasons with Corey Davis as their top receiver. Davis showed flashes in 2018, and we know he's just about to enter his prime. Well, Marcus Mariota not only has rising star Davis to work with, but also a reliable slot receiver in Adam Humphries. The latter will be a complement to Davis and will help this passing game improve quite a bit in 2019. Humphries is coming off of a career year in which he had 76 catches for 816 yards and 5 touchdowns. He'll fit in nicely on a Tennessee offense that loves the short passes and power running game. Think of him here as a poor man's Julian Edelman. Humphries doesn't have to put up huge numbers to justify the $36 million Tennessee gave him. He's just got to come up with the usual clutch third down catches to help move the chains. He's the perfect solution for Tennessee's long, struggling passing game. Expect big results from him. Number 4. Flop CJ Mosley. Jets, why did you have to do this? Listen, we love CJ Mosley. He's a 4-time Pro Bowl inside linebacker and was arguably Baltimore's best defensive player for 5 years. But $85 million over 5 years for an inside linebacker? Remember, the Jets were close to signing fellow Pro Bowl linebacker Anthony Barr, but he accepted a bit less to stay with the Vikings. The Jets should have sweetened their offer to first get Barr and then focus on Mosley after. As Pro Football Focus noted, Mosley is unreliable in his coverage, and his run defense isn't as strong and consistent as you'd like for an $85 million player. Also, his .34 wins above replacement score from PFF was only good for 151st place among the defensive players. You can make a case that Mosley was a product of the Baltimore defense, where pretty much every player shines in some role. The Jets are basically paying him to be the anchor of this defense. But that role already belongs to Jamal Adams, so we really can't justify this contract. Number 4. Rock Eric Weddle. The Ravens surprisingly cut ageless wonder and perennial Pro Bowl safety Eric Weddle, and the Rams wasted no time scooping up the future Hall of Famer. The reigning NFC champion signed Weddle to a modest 2-year deal worth $10.5 million. So they get the better safety at a fraction of the cost the Raiders paid to pry LaMarcus Joyner away from Los Angeles. Weddle remains one of the NFL's elite safeties. Despite the mileage on his body, he's a game changer and should shore up a Rams secondary that didn't fully live up to expectations in 2018. He'll do just fine under defensive coordinator Wade Phillips. Weddle is still in his prime and will continue to be a star during his 2 years in LA. Number 3. Flop Trent Brown. The 6'8", 380-pound offensive tackle was drafted in the 7th round by the San Francisco 49ers in 2015. He endured 3 unproductive years there before joining the Patriots in 2018. Brown anchored New England's excellent offensive line, which kept Tom Brady upward and helped the Patriots win Super Bowl 53. So what's more likely? That Brown was a product of the Patriots' great system, or that he just coincidentally broke out with a change of scenery? We'll take the former, based on history. Just ask Nate Solder how he did when he left the Patriots for the Giants. The Raiders signed Brown to a 4-year, $66 million contract. Fun fact, he's now the highest-paid offensive lineman in the entire NFL. That's a lot of money for a guy with 1 good season on his resume, and a PFF grade of 71 in 2018, too. Brown could prove us wrong here. We just like to side with the Patriots' history of making average players look like stars. We've seen it before. A guy leaves Foxborough for more money and flops. Number 3. Rock Le'Veon Bell. The Jets were always considered the favorites for Le'Veon Bell. Sure enough, they wound up landing the Pro Bowl running back on a 4-year contract worth $52.5 million. Now we understand why some may be critical of this signing. For one, you can credit the Pittsburgh Steelers' offensive line for Bell's success. They made sophomore James Conner look just like Bell in 2018 after all. But make no mistake, Bell has a tremendous skill set and is one of the most complete and explosive running backs we've seen in years. His patience, speed, agility, and football smarts make Bell one of the biggest playmakers in the league on offense. The Jets have too much cap space and had to use some of it to fix the supporting cast around Sam Darnold. Offensive guru head coach Adam Gase will make the most of Bell and turn him into a huge weapon on that offense. Number 2. Flop Golden Tate. The Giants are an interesting team right now. Their idea of rebuilding is to trade away their best player in Odell Beckham Jr. and letting Pro Bowl safety Landon Collins leave in free agency. All this while keeping an aging and past his prime Eli Manning. They replaced Beckham by signing Golden Tate to a 4-year deal worth $37.5 million. Tate's a good player, but he's entering his age 31 season and he's not going to take this offense to the next level. He's a huge downgrade. Tate is going to struggle fitting in this Giants offense that has a wretched offensive line and a QB who's a shell of his former self. It's going to be hard for Tate to get open and run the routes when Eli isn't getting time to throw. Tate was a great fit for the Lions' pass-happy offense. He struggled to fit in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. So are we supposed to believe he'll produce the same results as he did in Detroit with the terrible Giants team? Not buying it. He better put up 2 or 3 1,000-yard seasons to earn the money, but it simply isn't happening. Number 2, Rock Earl Thomas. You can make a case that Thomas has been the NFL's best safety since breaking into the NFL back in 2010. His departure from Seattle wasn't pretty, but Thomas will flourish in the next chapter of his career with the Ravens. The 6-time Pro Bowler and 3-time first-team All-Pro joined the Ravens on a 4-year contract worth $55 million, and we love it. Also, the Ravens have the best secondary in the NFL right now, and they always get great production out of their defensive players. This is a win-win all across the board. Defensive coordinator Don Martindale did wonders with Eric Weddle as his safety. Just imagine what he'll do now with an even better one leading his secondary. The Ravens lost Weddle, TERRELL, SUGGS, and CJ Mosley, but their departures won't be too evident. Thomas is still elite and will take this defense to another level in 2019 and beyond. Number 1 flop, Landon Collins. The Redskins paid the 3-time Pro Bowl safety a whopping $84 million over 6 years. This is nothing against Landon Collins, one of the game's better and younger defensive players, but this makes no sense. No safety in the NFL right now is worth that much money. Few defensive players are. Also, the Redskins could have signed one of the other top safeties on the market for far less. Tyrann Mathieu is only 2 years older than Collins, and the Chiefs got him on a more modest 3-year deal worth $42 million. Even bringing back Ha-Ha Clinton Dix on a prove-it deal would have made more sense. Collins isn't as great as you might think. He had a 70.4 grade from PFF in 2018, which obviously doesn't justify the $84 million. This isn't an Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu caliber safety, folks. Finally, the Redskins should have used this money to address all of their other holes. They don't have any big-time wide receivers, the offensive line is a mess, and the cornerbacks need to be addressed. Unless Collins wins Super Bowls and earns a bunch of All-Pro selections, he's going to disappoint in DC. And number 1 rock, Nick Foles. After being arguably football's biggest disappointment in 2018, the team finally cut ties with Blake Bortles. In turn, they signed Super Bowl 52 champion and MVP Nick Foles to a 4-year contract worth $88 million. Jacksonville was still one of the NFL's top defenses in 2018, and running back Leonard Fournette will be a huge weapon if he stays healthy. All the Jaguars had to do was upgrade at the QB position, and they've done that. Foles is now reunited with the Jaguars' offensive coordinator John DeFilippo, who served as his QB coach during Philly's Super Bowl winning 2017 season. And remember, Jacksonville isn't asking Foles to throw for 300 yards and multiple TDs a game. They're only asking him to be slightly above average. As long as he doesn't turn it over and implode in bunches, this team will be a force. Foles should do just fine in Jacksonville's offense. He's got Fournette and a couple of playmaking wideouts in Marquise Lee and D.D. Westbrook. Foles is just what Jacksonville needed. Is it too soon to call them a Super Bowl contender again? Which other NFL free agents will rock with their new teams? And which other ones will flop? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.